Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Jonathan from MLC Tech, and now in a surprise twist of events today, Apple have announced and launched the Apple AirPods Max 2. And now looking at the products, it looks exactly the same as the last generation, but Apple claims the new generation brings stronger active noise cancelling, lossless audio and live translation, all powered by their brand new H2 headphone chip. But on the flip side, these headphones will set you back the cost of Apple's brand new MacBook Neo. Now, over the last week, Apple's had an absolute hit of product announcements, from the likes of the iPhone 17e to the new M5 Pro and M5 Max to the budget-friendly MacBook Neo. Safe to say, Apple has been treating their fans and general consumers pretty good this last week. And Apple has continued its approach of surprise launch announcements with the AirPods Max 2. Now, these ultra premium over-ear headphones arrived more than 5 years after the original AirPods Max, and they launched for the same price of $549. Now, pre-orders for this pair of headphones will open on March 25th in more than 30 countries, with general shipping availability being in early April. And now Apple is sticking with the familiar industrial design, which means the new iteration looks more of a spec bump and refresh opposed to an entirely new generation, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but the design, in my personal opinion, could have done with a dramatic refresh in their appearance and make a design that's more iconic, appealing, and also, I'd say, more comfortable. But regardless of how it looks, most people tend to buy headphones for, well, how they sound, not for just how they look. We're not going to go back to the era of you're only cool if you walk around with Beat Solo 2 on your ears because, you know, Dr. Dre's cool and stuff, you know, the era of 2010 through 2011s, where, you know, that perception did play into a lot of people's buying decisions, even though at the time Beats were still subpar in sound quality. But Apple claims the AirPods Max 2 offers even better active noise cancellation, a big factor for someone buying headphones of this price point, of course elevated sound quality, and more intelligent features than the current versions of the headphones. Now, they use the same H2 headphone chips as the AirPods Pro 3, while introducing features such as adaptive audio, conversation awareness, voice isolation, and live translation. A lot of the features that the AirPods Pro 3 have themselves. I myself am a user of the AirPods Pro 3, and the noise cancellation on them, super impressive. And if they can bring that level of noise cancellation over to the AirPods Max, you know, that could be a very tempting buy. Now, with the noise cancellation component, Apple claims the new model delivers up to 1.5 more effective active noise cancellation than the first generation AirPods Max. And of course, this is thanks to the new H2 chip and updated computational audio algorithms. And transparency mode is also getting some additional attention, with Apple promising a more natural sound pass-through experience. But for someone buying headphones, the most important thing, especially if you spend $550 on a pair of headphones, is audio quality. Now, the Max 2 now supports 24-bit 48 kHz lossless audio and ultra-low latency audio over the included USB-C cable. And now that feature alone will matter far more to musicians, editors, and other creators, especially as Apple says the headphones can be used to create and mix in personal spatial audio with head tracking. So, you know, for a professional, that could actually be pretty impressive, that you can use these headphones to track and simulate and test audio tracks with multiple audio inputs, you know, designed for surround sound or spatial audio optimizations. So giving people the ability to use them in such productivity workloads, though I still will question the sound quality overall compared to actual professional grade headphones in this space. Actual professional offerings from the likes of Sennheiser, which are more open back in studio uses. I still think an example of that will still be far better and more applicable to a musician or someone truly mastering audio and wanting to, well, master their audio and get that most reference sound out of them. Now, taking a focus on Apple's adaptive audio, this is something that can ultimately balance active noise cancellation with transparency mode depending on the environment, while conversation awareness lowers playback and reduces background noise when the wearer starts speaking to someone nearby. And there are some improvements to voice isolation on the actual microphone side of these headphones, and now these are designed to make calls clearer by prioritizing the user's voice over ambient noise. But the main headline feature that Apple is advertising is live translation, which is bringing real-time translated speech to the over-ear headphones, though it does require an Apple Intelligence-capable iPhone and remains subject to language and regional limitations. So while it's cool that it can perform these tasks, it requires the iPhone to do it for you to begin with, so is it really an impressive feature to the headphones that it requires a compatible device in order to perform this function? Doesn't make it sound like a feature of the headphone itself, does it? But Apple has also added creator-friendly extras, which are quite nice to have, including studio quality audio recordings out of the microphones themselves, camera remote functionality through the digital crown. Okay, that could be pretty useful. Personalized volume and loud sound reduction, and lower wireless latency in game mode on compatible Apple devices. Why would you add a game mode for it to only be compatible on Apple devices? No one's playing games on your Apple. But notably, the battery life of these headphones is rated at 20 hours of listening time with active noise cancellation enabled, as well as spatial audio being enabled, which means Apple hasn't really made a huge leap when it comes to the endurance of these headphones, but it's still worth noting. And one of the biggest downsides that I do have to say about this is the weight of these headphones. Now, this is very underwhelming at 386.2 grams, which means the AirPods Pro Max 2 are heavier than the originals, which is a big disappointment. That was a big complaint I have personally with the AirPods Max, and why I didn't even consider buying them. Of course, their price was much higher compared to other competitors, but they were just too heavy for me. You know, I need something that's light on my head for comfort, and also just my head, I tire out very easily, so having something heavy on my head really does put extra strain on my muscle movements, especially around my neck. So having something that was as heavy as the AirPods Max 2, I just did not gel with at all. Which is why I still rock these headphones as my main daily driver, these being the Sony XM6s. I previously had the XM5s and the XM4s and the XM3, so it's safe to say I am probably loyal to the Sony XM range, but because they are really good for the price. While the AirPods Max 2 do have some pretty impressive features, it's a bit of a hard pill to swallow, especially at $550, where I got these headphones for £280, which is almost half the price. And I still think a common complaint of these headphones are for this increase of a couple of extra $100. It doesn't offer too much more in terms of sound quality to really differentiate itself from the $300 headphone segment. But it still remains to be seen on the actual sound quality of these headphones, and I could be wrong, and the audio quality could be dramatically different, though judging by what I'm reading, it's just going to be a more of a marginal increase in sound quality opposed to this generational increase that really sets it above the likes of the XM6s. But I will keep an open mind until those reviews and benchmarks do come in. And the additional smart features and the likes of the improved noise cancelling could also be something that really sets the bar for these headphones. But then again, the $550 price, it's going to be hard to swallow. Whereas the AirPods Pro 3, that launched for £250. I was able to pick up my ones for $180 on a flash sale. That's a really impressive price for what you're getting out of them. And the value proposition for the noise cancelling and sound quality you get out of those devices at £180, it was a no-brainer. Whereas it's going to be a bit more difficult to recommend these at $550. Though I do want to note that the H2 chip and the noise cancellation in the AirPods Pros were super impressive. And for someone who wants the absolute best in terms of noise cancellation, this could be the headphone for you. Could be the perfect headphone for those long flight travels, or just for any situation where you want the most isolation, because you're getting that physical isolation from the ear cups themselves and then the improved additional noise cancellation from the ANC. So it remains to be seen. I'm skeptical, but also keeping an open mind, because these additional features could prove to make or break this product. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions around the new AirPods in the comments down below. What do you think of these headphones, and would it be something you would buy, or would you rather stick to other offerings in the competition from the likes of Sony or Bose? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway, I've been Madison Charlton from MC Tech. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye for now.